Blessed day, everyone, and welcome to It's When Lightning Strikes. If this is your first time joining this circle, my name is Grace, and I will be your host. Today, we're going to be going over the second teaching of the Grandfathers, which is honesty. This is part 2 of honesty. If you haven't seen part 1 already, I would definitely probably go back and watch that. So, part 2 is going to be dealing with being true to yourself. So Raven represents honesty, not only because he knows who he is, but he lives his life being true to who he is. In other words, he's not masquerading around, pretending he's an eagle, or pretending he's a hummingbird, or pretending he's any other relative in the natural world. He is true to himself, and he goes through life being Raven. And so if you look in the human world, it's easy to see how very few people go through life being true to themselves. I don't know that a lot of people even know who they are, in all honesty. So we're going to talk about what being true to yourself means and living your life in that manner. First, you have to know who you are. And this is beyond what the world wants you to believe. This is beyond what your parents want you to do. This is beyond any external forces that may exist that are steering you a certain way, wanting you to be a certain way, wanting you to do certain things, having expectations that, you may not want to fulfill. And this is kind of how the world is in current times, from a young age, where being told what we should do, what we shouldn't do, what we should like, what we shouldn't like. And there's really not a lot of room for people to just be and figure out who they are. And again, this is your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're good at, what you're not good at, your superpowers that you were gifted from the Great Spirit. And you don't have to fit into these molds. In fact, I encourage you to break out of them and discover who you are beyond all of these expectations, beyond all of these molds, beyond what anybody wants of you. You need to figure out who you are. Spirit made us all unique. There is no one else like me, and there is no one else like you. And if you don't be you, there is no backup plan for you, because you are the only one that can be you. So in order to find out who you are, you're going to have to go within. You're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to be humble. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. And really, you're stripping everything away. I mean, everything outside of you, strip away. Even if it's in your own mind and your own imagination, you need to strip it away. And really start figuring out, who am I? What am I here for? What do I like? What don't I like? What fills me with joy? What makes me want to get up in the morning? You need to figure all these things out so that you can be you. And it's going to take a lot of courage to be you, probably. And I think that's another reason why people are not living life being true to themselves. So if you do know who you are, Maybe you're afraid to be that because people are going to ridicule you. People are going to judge you. You're going to lose all your friends probably. It's an endless list of things that may happen if you choose to embrace who you really are and live your life in that manner. And you know what? You got to be okay with that, because why do you want people around you that don't honor you for who you are, that don't honor you for what brings you joy, what makes you happy, what fills you up, what makes you want to get up in the morning? You don't need those people. You think you need them, but you don't. So this is going to take a great act of courage, a great act of bravery, once you figure out who you are, and living that literally out loud, not to be cliche. And you got to be okay with the price, because really what you're doing is embracing your freedom, embracing your sovereignty. This is what you're doing ultimately. And it really shouldn't matter what that costs. You can find new friends. Sometimes letting go, a lot of times letting go, is what makes room for what is supposed to be coming to you. And you can't receive what's supposed to be coming if you're hanging on to what needs to leave. So being true to yourself, we all need to be true to ourselves, because there's only one of us. And if we're not who we're supposed to be, we were created and intended to be, then what are we doing here besides taking up airspace? So we all need to fulfill our role, as we have learned from the wolf pack. We have to fulfill our role for the collective. And only I can fulfill mine, and only you can fulfill yours. So this is honesty and being true to yourself. Second teaching of the grandfather, incorporating humility, because you can't be honest with yourself if you're not humble. It's also incorporating teaching 4, which is bravery. And we'll get to that one, but this again is just to emphasize how these teachings are not standalones. They're all working in tandem with each other. And I'm going to point that out every single time we see this, just so that, we can really understand these teachings and how they work and how important that they are. I thank you for joining me today on the channel where lightning is bound to strike. Until we come together again in this circle, please be well.